Frequently asked questions about driving Uber, episode 2. You asked, I answered. Can you provide your own commercial insurance rather than buying it in 15-minute chunks from Uber? As far as I know, as an Uber driver, we're not allowed to have our own commercial auto insurance. It would be very cool. Now, if somebody else knows otherwise, let me know in the comments. But from what I've gathered, Uber charges between $10-15 on commercial auto insurance per ride, and sometimes it can go as high as $45-46. Trust me, I've recorded it. Now multiply that. Let's say Uber charges $20 on average. I do around 10 passengers a day. That's $200 a day going to commercial auto insurance. That's a lot of money. Multiply that by a month. That's almost $4,000 or $5,000, maybe even more, going to commercial auto insurance. That doesn't make any sense, because if I got my own personal commercial auto insurance, maybe I would pay around $1,000 a month. So why is Uber taking almost $4,000 to $5,000 based on what I'm calculating? I have no idea. And this is why I'm making videos like this, so you can help us figure this out. I would want an understanding of what the California benefit fee is. So the fee for California drivers, or whatever Uber charges, the 79 cents, sometimes it's 77, sometimes it's 40. This is basically introduced because of Prop 22. It goes towards our earnings guarantee, and it goes towards our health benefits, none of which I literally use. And honestly, we don't pay for it. The rider pays for this. Uber takes it out and puts it somewhere and then does something with it, right? If you know more about this, let me know in the comments. Business comfort. What the hell? How you get that option? So you want to know about business comfort. Bro, you made me laugh, okay? You made my day. Before I tell you about business comfort, let me tell you about what comfort is. To be a comfort level driver, you need to have a car that is around 7 years or less older. It needs to have lots of room for space. You got to keep it clean. As a driver, your rating needs to be over 4.85, and you have to do at least 100 rides in UberX to qualify for that. That's the comfort level, okay? With that, the passengers have an option where they can say, hey, they want a certain temperature, or if they're open to chatting, meaning if the passenger wants to talk to you, or they can say quiet preferred, right? It's a comfort level ride. Uber does pay you a little bit more as a driver, and it's actually the perfect sweet spot. If somebody doesn't want to get a black, or they don't want to get UberX, they'll go for comfort, and Uber tries to push that. Now, what is business comfort? Business comfort is basically a business person or someone that's traveling for business is using their credit card to order a comfort ride, and generally it's a write-off for them, and they get points towards their hotels or whatever the credit card game that they do. I love taking business comfort because for me, there's a good chance that you're going to get a tip. Yeah, Uber and Lyft rip off both the riders and drivers. I hope that a new rideshare company starts in San Diego, California. I am a big-time cherry picker. You have been a great help with your tips and tricks on driving with these apps. Dr. Frank. There are 3 rideshare companies that I know about that I'm looking into. One is called Hum. They are based out of Arizona. You've heard Jeff from the Mic Drop Barbecue talk about it. $1 a day, $30 a month. The drivers get to keep 100%. And it includes commercial auto insurance. Sergio from the Rideshare Guy talked about this second one in his podcast called Why Ride. They're based out of San Francisco. They're looking for around 500 drivers to test it out. The last one is, I think, called InDrive, based out of Florida, and they are making a bang. I saw some of their interviews. Great company. Look into these 3, and I'll do a full episode on this because there's like 9 or 10 that I've researched that are already available right now for you to check out. What car do you drive? Where do you live? You drive all the way to LAX to work? What's your thoughts on electric vehicles, and do you use Lyft platform? I drive a 2021 Toyota Highlander. It allows me to drive Uber with 7 different settings. Do I recommend it? No. The only reason I have it is because I live in a trailer and it allows me to pull my trailer and I can end up at a new location or a new city in every 2 weeks, basically, right? Now, that answers your second question. Where do I live? Because I live in a trailer, I live all over Southern California. The 5 main cities where I live at are, number 1, I love driving in San Diego. Number 2, Palm Springs. Not in the summertime, but basically from January to about right around now, May. Then I live in a city called Menifee. I also live in a city called Cherry Valley. And lastly, I live in a city called Santa Clarita. This basically allows me to cover all over Southern California. Do I drive to LAX? I do. Actually, I love driving to LAX. It just gives me a goal and I know how to cherry pick and work that airport. But generally, it doesn't have to be LAX. I can go towards San Diego Airport. I can go towards Palm Springs Airport. I can go towards Ontario Airport. I can go towards John Wayne Airport. And yes, even Burbank Airport. My point is this. My style of driving Uber is basically going towards an airport, so I always have a direction, and if I have to wait at the airport in the queue, well, I'm making videos like this and responding to your comments. Do I recommend an electronic vehicle? I think that's on you. I personally think if I had a stable location where I could charge it, I would definitely get it. 1, it's a better driving experience. 2, all the cars and even California is pushing everyone to go electronic, right? And I've got a buddy on my WhatsApp group and my Discord that drives an electronic vehicle, a Tesla, and he loves it. He gets reservations all the time. He gets more money. He gets more tips because it creates a better user experience for the passengers. And lastly, you asked if I drive for Lyft. Unfortunately, I used to drive for Lyft, but I got deactivated. In fact, I've been deactivated from Uber around 4 or 5 times in the last 5 years of driving. I would love to drive for Lyft, but right now my goal is to actually stop driving for Uber, stop driving for Lyft, because it's not safe for us anymore, unfortunately. It used to be safe, but now it's risky with the passengers, it's risky with the insurance companies, it's actually risky driving. Literally every day I notice at least 4 or 5 times the app pops up while I'm driving and I've got to go deal with this doo-doo-doo and figure out where I'm going, find a safe place to park, and then figure out in less than 10 seconds if I'm going to take a passenger or not. Look, Uber and Lyft are not safe anymore. I honestly don't recommend it. For those that have to drive, that's why I make these videos. Does Uber give an extra $20 per trip? Okay, regarding the $20 extra, you're basically talking about when I was driving at the Coachella Music Festival and Stagecoach. And yes, I believe from 10 o'clock at night to around 1 in the morning, Uber was giving an extra $20, but I don't really recommend it. Look, at the music festival at night at Coachella and Stagecoach, you're basically dealing with people that are coming back after drinking and taking drugs. I don't recommend it at all, right? So at night, I do not drive people at music festivals, but I'll drop them. And for dropping them, Uber used to give you $40, not anymore. What's better, Uber or Lyft for drivers? I honestly don't recommend Uber, and I don't recommend Lyft, and I don't recommend gig work. I already answered this question, and I'll do it one more time because a lot of you are asking me this. Look, guys, it's not safe anymore. These app companies are greedy, super greedy. Like today, a customer paid $37 for an Uber ride. I got $16, right? That's almost 2/3 of the money that went to Uber. 1/3 came to us. When customers have to pay that high of an amount, there's very little chance we're going to get a tip. It doesn't matter what kind of customer service you do. And this leash is getting tighter, which means I've noticed in the last 5.5 years of driving Uber, we're making less and less money, which basically forces us to drive longer and longer and longer hours, right? I used to drive 8 hours to make $200-300. Now I drive 14 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week to barely hit that amount. And with the gas cost and all the expenses we have, look, it's not profitable anymore and it's very dangerous. Check out the playlist that I've linked right here for you. It's got over 10 videos where I show you step by step how I earn over $300 driving Uber. The next 2 videos that are popping up, The first one is going to be the next video in the series you want to check out, where I'm responding to your comments and your questions and your concerns about driving Uber. The video on the bottom is going to be the playlist, where I'll keep adding until I have at least 10 or 15 videos there, and basically answer all your most important questions.